Training and development can contribute to companies' competitiveness. Competitiveness refers to a company's ability to maintain and gain market share in an industry. Companies are experiencing great change due to new technologies, rapid development of knowledge, globalization of business, and development of e-commerce. Also, companies have to take steps to attract, retain, and motivate their workforces. Training is not a luxury, it's a necessity if companies are going to participate in the global and electronic marketplaces by offering high-quality products and services. Training prepares employees to use new technologies, function in new work systems such as virtual teams, and communicate and cooperate with peers or customers who may be from different cultural backgrounds. Human resource management refers to the policies, practices, and systems that influence employee behaviors, attitudes, and performance. Human resource practices play a key role in attracting, motivating, rewarding, and retaining employees. Other human resource management practices include recruiting employees, selecting employees, designing work, compensating employees, and developing good labor and employee relations. Human resource management is one of several important functions in most companies. Other functional areas include accounting and finance, production and operation, research and development, and marketing. Keep in mind, though, human resource management practices, such as training, can help companies gain a competitive advantage. The company needs to produce a product or service that the customer values. The overall goal of training and development is learning. Learning refers to employees acquiring knowledge, skills, competencies, attitudes, or behaviors. But the focus of training and development is not just on employees learning for its own sake. Today, merely offering training programs is not enough to get support and funding from executives and to establish the credibility of the training and development function to managers and employees. Learning needs to demonstrate how it contributes to the company's competitive advantage through improving employee performance, supporting the business strategy, such as growing the business, and contributing positively to business outcomes such as quality, productivity, development of new products, and retaining key employees. From a company's perspective, what employees learn contributes to the development of intangible assets such as human capital. Human capital refers to knowledge, knowing what, advanced skills, knowing how, systems understanding and creativity, knowing why, and motivation to deliver higher quality products and services, caring about the why. Human capital may be more valuable than physical capital like equipment or technology, or financial capital such as money, assets, or cash, for providing a company with an advantage over its competitors, because it's difficult to imitate or purchase and it's unique to the organization. Training refers to a planned effort by a company to facilitate learning of on-the-job related competencies, knowledge, skills, and behaviors by employees. The goal of training is for employees to master the knowledge, skills, and behaviors emphasized in training and apply them to their day-to-day activities. Traditionally, companies have relied on formal training through a course, program, or event to teach employees the knowledge, skills, and behaviors they need to successfully perform their job. Development is similar to training, except for it tends to be more future-focused. Development refers to training as well as formal education, job experiences, relationship and assessments of personality, skills, and abilities that help employees prepare for future jobs or positions. Formal training and development refers to training and development programs, courses, and events that are developed and organized by the company. Typically, employees are required to attend or complete these programs, which can include face-to-face training programs, such as instructor-led courses, as well as online programs. Informal learning is also important for facilitating the development of human capital. Informal learning refers to learning that is learner-initiated, involves action and doing, and is motivated by an intent to develop, and does not occur in a formal learning setting. Informal learning occurs without a trainer or instructor, and its breadth, depth, and timing is controlled by the employee. It occurs on an as-needed basis and may involve an employee learning either alone or through face-to-face or technology-aided social interactions. One reason why informal learning may be especially important is that it may lead to the effective development of tactic knowledge, which can be contrasted with explicit knowledge. Explicit knowledge refers to knowledge that's well documented, easily articulated, and easily transferred from person to person. Examples of explicit knowledge include processes, checklists, flowcharts, formulas, and definitions. Explicit knowledge tends to be the primary focus of formal training in employee development. Tactic knowledge refers to personal knowledge based on individual experiences that can be difficult to codify. The characteristics of formal training and development programs, such as the relatively short duration of classroom or online training and limited opportunities for practice, may limit the extent to which tactic knowledge can be required. Thus, informal learning is central to the development of tactic knowledge because it involves employees' interaction in personal relationships with peers, colleagues, and experts through which tactic knowledge is shared. Formal training and development are still needed to prepare employees for their jobs and to help them advance to future positions. Knowledge management refers to the process of enhancing company performance by designing and implementing tools, processes, systems, structures, and cultures to improve the creation, sharing, and use of knowledge. Many companies who recognize the value of learning have taken steps to ensure that formal training and employee development is linked to strategic business objectives and goals, use an instructional design process to ensure that these programs are effective, and compares or benchmarks the company programs against its competitors or other companies in the industry. This discussion is not meant to underestimate the importance of traditional training, a focus on the acquisition of knowledge, skills, and abilities, but it should alert you, for many companies, training is evolving from a focus on skills to an emphasis on continuous learning and creating and sharing knowledge. The training design process refers to a systematic approach for developing training programs. This figure represents the 7 steps in the process. Step 1 is a needs assessment, which is necessary to identify whether training is needed. Step 2 is to ensure that employees have the motivation and basic skills necessary to master the training content. Step 3 is to create a learning environment that has the features necessary for learning to occur. Step 4 is to ensure that trainees apply the training content in their jobs. Step 5 is to develop an evaluation plan. Developing an evaluation plan includes identifying what types of outcomes training is expected to influence, for example, learning, behavior, or skills. Choosing an evaluation design that allows you to determine the influence of your training on those outcomes, and planning how to demonstrate how training affects the bottom line. Step 6 is to choose the training method based on the learning objectives and learning environment. And finally, Step 7 is to evaluate the program and make changes in it or revisit any of the earlier steps in the process to improve the program so that learning, behavior, change, and other learning objectives are obtained. The training design program shown in our figure is based on the principles of instructional systems design. Instructional systems design, referred to ISD, refers to the process of designing and developing training programs. There is not one universally accepted instructional system development model. The training design process sometimes is referred to as the ADDIE model because it includes analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. Step 1, conducting needs assessment, and Step 2, ensuring employees' readiness for training, are related to analysis. The next 3 steps, creating a learning environment, ensuring transfer of training, and developing an evaluation plan, are design issues. Step 6, selecting and using a training method, refers to implementation. Step 7, monitoring and evaluating the program, refers to evaluation. Regardless of the specific ISD approach used, all share the following assumptions. Training design is effective only if it helps employees reach instructional or training goals and objectives. Measurable learning objectives should be identified before the training program begins. An evaluation plays an important role in planning and choosing a training method, monitoring the program, and suggesting changes to the training design process. Some training professionals argue that ISD model is flawed for several reasons. First, in organizations, the training design process rarely follows a neat, orderly, step-by-step approach to activities. Second, in trying to standardize their own ISD method used in training functions, some organizations require trainers to provide detailed documents of each activity found in the model. Third, the ISD implies an endpoint evaluation. Fourth, many companies claim to use instructional design approach but dilute its application. Despite these criticisms, use of the ISD process is the best way to help ensure the effectiveness of training and development. The training design process should be as systematic yet flexible enough to adapt to business needs. Different steps may be completed simultaneously. To survive, organizations must address these forces with training playing an important role. Globalization of business, demographic changes, new technologies, and economic changes are several of the forces that influence all aspects of our lives: how we purchase products and services, how we learn, how we communicate with each other, and what we value in our lives and on the job. These forces are affecting individuals, communities, businesses, and society. The following forces influence work and learning. Factors include economic cycles, globalization, increased value placed on intangible assets, a focus on a link to business strategy, and changing demographics and diversity. They also include talent management, customer service and quality emphasis, new technology, and high-performance work systems. It is important to recognize that regardless of the current economic cycle, training has been shown to positively contribute to a company's performance. Every business must be prepared to deal with the global economy. Global business expansion has made it easier by technology. The internet allows data and information to be instantly accessible and sent around the world. Globalization is not limited to any particular sector of the economy, product, market, or company size. Companies without international operations may buy or use goods that have been purchased overseas, hire employees with diverse backgrounds, or compete with foreign-owned companies operating within the United States. Globalization is likely to increase as major opportunities to expand into new markets grow due to the increasing number of customers overseas who have products and services and income to buy them. Training and development can help a company's competitiveness by directly increasing a company's value through contributing to intangible assets. A company's value includes three types of assets that are critical for the company to produce goods and services: financial assets like cash and securities, physical assets like property, plant, and equipment, and intangible assets. Human capital refers to the sum of the attributes, life experiences, knowledge, inventiveness, energy, and enthusiasm that the company's employees invest in their work. Intellectual capital refers to the codified knowledge that exists in a company. Social capital refers to the relationships in a company. Customer capital refers to the value of relationships with persons or other organizations outside the company for accomplishing the goals of the company, like relationships with suppliers, customers, vendors, and government agencies. Intangible assets are equally as valuable as financial and physical assets, but they're not something that can be touched, as they're non-monetary. Given the important role that intangible assets and human capital play in a company's competitiveness, managers are beginning to see a more important role for training and development as a means to support a company's business strategy. That is, its plans for meeting broad goals such as profitability, market share, and quality. Managers expect training and development professionals to design and develop learning activities that will help companies successfully implement strategy and reach business goals. In the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics, an agency of the Department of Labor, they track the composition of the U.S. labor force and forecast trends. Population is the single most important factor in determining the size and composition of the labor force, which is comprised of people who are either working or looking for work. The civilian labor force is projected to increase by 18 million between 2012 and 2022, reaching 163 million by 2022. The workforce will be older and more culturally diverse than at any other time in the past 40 years. 5 generations are represented in the workforce, each one with unique and similar characteristics to others. Talent management refers to the systematic, planned, and strategic effort by a company to use bundles of human resource management practices, including acquiring and assessing employees, learning and development, performance management, and compensation to attract, develop, and motivate highly skilled employees and managers. Talent management is becoming increasingly more important because of changes in the demand for certain occupations and jobs, skill requirements, and anticipated retirement of baby boomer generation, and the need to develop managerial talent and skills for the next generation of company leaders. Also, results of a survey suggest that opportunities for career growth, learning and development, and performance of exciting and challenging work are some of the most important factors in determining employees, especially millennials, engagement and commitment to their employer. A company's customers judge its quality and performance. As a result, customer excellence requires attention and product and service features, as well as to interactions with customers. Customer driven excellence includes understanding what the customer wants, anticipating future needs, reducing defects and errors, meeting specifications, and reducing complaints. How the company recovers from defects and errors is also important for retaining and attracting customers. To compete in today's economy, whether on a local or global level, companies need to provide a quality product or service. If companies do not adhere to quality standards, their ability to sell a product or service to vendors, suppliers, or customers will be restricted. Some countries even have quality standards that companies must meet to conduct business there. Total Quality Management, known as TQM, is a company-wide effort to continuously improve the ways people work, machines, and systems accomplish work. Technology has reshaped the way we play, communicate, plan our lives, and work. Many companies' business model includes e-commerce, which allows customers to purchase products and services online. The internet is a global collection of computer networks that allows users to exchange data and information. Through technology, the information needed to improve customer service and product quality becomes more accessible to employees. This means that employees are expected to take more responsibility for satisfying the customer and determining how they perform their job. One of the most popular methods for increasing employee responsibility and control is work teams. Work teams involve employees with various skills who interact to assemble a product or provide a service. Work teams may assume many of the activities usually reserved for managers, including selecting new team members, scheduling work, and coordinating activities with customers and other work units. To give teams maximum flexibility, cross-training of team members occurs. Cross-training refers to training employees in a wide range of skills so they can fill any of the roles needed to perform on the team. Training can play a critical role in helping companies gain a competitive advantage and successfully deal with competitive challenges. Before you can learn how training can be used to help companies meet their business objectives, and before you understand training design, training methods, and other topics covered in this series, you need to become more familiar with the amount and type of training that occurs in the United States. Also, you must understand what trainers do. Knowledge workers are employees that contribute to a company not through manual labor, but through what they know, perhaps about customers or a specialized body of knowledge. Employees cannot simply be ordered to perform tasks. They must share knowledge and collaborate on solutions. Knowledge workers contribute specialized knowledge that their managers may not have, such as information about customers, and managers depend on those knowledge workers to share that information. Knowledge workers have many job opportunities. If they choose, they can leave a company and take their knowledge to a competitor. Knowledge workers are in demand because of the growth of jobs requiring them. Employee engagement refers to the degree to which employees are fully involved in their work and the strength of their commitment to their job and organization. Employees who are engaged in their work and committed to their companies give those companies a competitive advantage, including higher productivity, better customer service, and lower turnover. Perhaps the best way to understand engagement is to consider how companies measure employee engagement. Companies measure employee engagement levels with attitude or opinion surveys. Although the types of questions asked on these surveys vary from company to company, research suggests that the questions generally measure themes such as pride in the company, satisfaction with the job, prospects for future growth with the company, and opportunity to perform challenging work. Engagement survey results show that only 30% of U.S. employees are engaged in their work, 52% are not engaged, and 18% are actively disengaged. Actively disengaged employees cost the United States billions of dollars a year in lost productivity. Talent management refers to the systematic, planned, and strategic effort by a company to use bundles of human resource management practices, including acquiring and assessing employees, learning and development, performance management, and compensation to attract, retain, develop, and motivate highly skilled employees and managers. Talent management is becoming increasingly more important because of changes in the demand for certain occupations and jobs, skill requirements, and the need to develop managerial talent and the skills of the next generation of company leaders. Also, the results of the survey suggest that opportunities for career growth, learning and development, and the performance of exciting and challenging work are some of the most important factors in determining employees, especially millennials' engagement and commitment to their current employer. Advances in sophisticated technology, along with reduced costs for the technology, are changing the delivery of training, making training more realistic and giving employees the opportunity to choose where and when they'll work. New technologies allow training to occur at any time and place. In general, social networking facilitates communications, decentralized decision making, and collaboration. Social networking can be useful for busy employees to share knowledge and ideas with their peers and managers with whom they may not have much time to interact with in person on a daily basis. Employees, especially young workers from the millennial or Gen Y generations, have learned to use social networking tools such as Facebook throughout their lives and see them as valuable tools for both their work and life. Despite its potential advantages, many companies are uncertain as to whether they should embrace social networking. They fear, perhaps correctly, that social networking will result in employees wasting time or offending or harassing their coworkers. But other companies believe that the benefits of using social networking for human resource practices and allowing employees to access social networks at work outweigh the risks. They trust employees to use social networking productively and proactively in developing policies about personal use and training employees about privacy settings and social network etiquette. They realize that employees will likely check their Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn accounts, but they ignore it unless productivity is decreasing. In some ways, social networking has become the electronic substitute for daydreaming at one's desk or walking to the break room to socialize with coworkers. Advances in technology, including more powerful computer chips and increased processing power of PDAs, notebooks, and iPhones, have the potential for freeing workers from going to a specific location to work from a traditional work schedule. One estimate is that at least 9.5% or 13.4 million U.S. employees are working at home at least one day a week. 1 in 4 home-based employees are working in management, business, and finance jobs, and the others are self-employed. Technology also allows companies greater use of alternative work arrangements. Alternative work arrangements include independent contractors, on-call workers, temporary workers, and contract company workers. A key training issue that alternative work arrangements presents is to prepare managers and employees to coordinate their efforts so that such work arrangements do not interfere with customer service or product quality. The increased use of alternative work arrangements means that managers need to understand how to motivate employees who may actually be employed by a third party, such as a temporary employee service or leasing agency. New technology causes changes in skill requirements and work roles and often results in redesigned work structures, like using work teams. Work teams may assume many of the activities usually reserved for managers, including selecting new team members, scheduling work, and coordinating activities with customers and other units in the company. Cross-training refers to training employees in a wide range of skills so they can fill any of those roles needed to be performed on the team. Besides changing the way that products are built or services are provided within companies, technology has allowed companies to perform work using virtual teams. Virtual teams refer to teams with members that are separated by time, geographic distance, culture, and/or organizational boundaries, and that rely almost exclusively on technology, such as email, internet, and video conferencing, to interact and complete their projects. Virtual teams can be formed within one company whose facilities are scattered throughout the country or the world. A company may also use virtual teams in partnerships with suppliers or competitors to pull together the necessary talent to complete a project or speed the delivery of a product to the marketplace. The success of virtual teams requires a clear mission, good communication skills, trust between members that they'll meet deadlines and complete assignments, and an understanding of cultural differences. For several reasons, the data should be viewed as reasonable estimates of practices rather than precise facts. One is that the samples may not be representative of all size or types of companies. For example, the training survey was conducted by a research firm that emailed invitations to subscribers to participate in an online survey. The response rate ranged from 31% for large firms to 28% for small firms. The ATD and the annual State of the Industry report includes hundreds of organizations across all major industries grouped into three categories: companies who've received awards for training, ATD Best Award winners, and Fortune Global 500 companies, and consolidated responses. You may be asking yourselves questions such as, how much time and money do companies spend on training? Or, is instructor-delivered training obsolete? This course provides a snapshot of trends in the workplace learning environment. U.S. organizations continue to invest large amounts of money in learning initiatives. Here's an overview of some of the key trends in these investments. Direct expenditures as a percentage of payroll and learning hours have remained stable over the last several years. Self-paced online learning is the most frequently used type of technology-based learning. Of the $61.8 billion spent on training, 63% is for internal costs, such as training staff salaries and course development, and 27% is for services by external providers, such as consultants, workshops, or training programs outside the company, and 10% is on tuition reimbursement. After several years of increases in cost per learning hour, it fell in 2013, suggesting that companies are more effectively distributing training to employees. Higher investment in training by companies in the United States is related to the use of innovative training practices and high-performance work practices such as teams, employee stock ownership plans, incentive compensation systems like profit sharing, individual development plans, and employee involvement in business decisions. This spending, along with the use of high-performance work practices, has been shown to be related to improved profitability, customer and employee satisfaction, and the ability to retain employees. How do the training practices of companies that have recognized training importance in gaining a competitive advantage differ from other companies? ATD's State of the Industry report in 2013 compares the training practices of companies that were part of the ATD benchmarking program, in which companies that received ATD Best Awards recognizing companies that show a clear link between learning and performance. Benchmarking program companies provided ATD with a standard set of information on their training practices, like the number of hours spent in training. These included 340 companies with an average of 16,719 employees. Here are the characteristics of these award-winning companies. Alignment of business strategy with training and development. Learning is valued as part of the culture and supported by executive leaders and top managers. Effectiveness and efficiency of learning is measured. Investment in training and development. Different learning opportunities are provided to all employees and have access to them. Measurement of effectiveness and efficiency of training and development activities, and non-training solutions for performance improvement are used, including organizational development and process improvement. Companies that share these characteristics were able to more effectively deliver training than benchmark firms. Each job has specific roles or functions. Although training professionals spend most of their time designing learning through instructional design, delivering training, managing learning programs, identifying, selecting, and using learning technologies, and coaching, working one-on-one with employees to help them develop, they do spend time in other areas as well. Performance improvement, designing and developing solutions to close performance gaps, Talent management, including talent acquisition, development, and retention, and knowledge management are other important areas of expertise. The fundamental competencies anchor a competency model for training and development. These fundamental competencies include interpersonal skills, business skills, personal skills, a global mindset, industry knowledge, and technology literacy. The fundamental competencies are important regardless of a training's area of expertise or role, but are used in different extents in each role or specialization. Traditional narrow jobs in the training and development field focus on one type of expertise, like instructional designer or technical writer. Those are changing, however, having multiple areas of expertise becoming more necessary for training and development to contribute to the business. Project management requires the knowledge of new training technology, like web delivered learning, mobile learning, and knowledge management systems, and the ability to manage managers, engineers, scientists, and others who may have more expertise, knowledge, or technical savvy than the trainer. In most companies, training and development activities are provided by trainers, managers, in house consultants, and employee experts. However, as the snapshot of training practice suggests, training and development activities are also outsourced. Outsourcing means that training and development activities are provided by individuals outside the company.